Hey everybody, I am SA with the Author Sesh Corner, and I have my lovely co-host, Wren Nightingale. And today is Author Spotlight, and we are interviewing the great Sir Bob, or is it Sir Bopper?
Hello. Either one will work. Either one will work.
What is your pen name?
So my pen name is the Reliquary, which is really, really weird to spell and pronounce. I swear it's a real word. Yeah, I'll drop it into the chat if that makes it easier.
Yeah, and then I'll definitely put your name in as well, so that way people know how to find it as well.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't really have much of an online presence at the moment. I am on Royal Road, but there's no real there's nothing published on there yet. I'm working on doing my second draft completely, maybe even a third before I actually get it on there as well.
Oh, perfect.
So.
Yep, so we're doing an interview. Today is aspiring author. So our lovely author here is not fully published yet, but like he said, he is on, you said your second to third draft?
Yep.
Perfect. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I kind of just exist at the moment. I just sort of hang out, around town. I write. I do a lot of sketching right now. Sketching's been a big thing for me at the moment. Just kind of living life to the best of my ability.
All right.
I'm pretty boring, actually. So this is
Do you have a title for your work in progress?
So I have titles for the specific shorts. I don't really have a title for the whole anthology as of yet, but I do plan to release them in an anthology. The current work in progress is Crossing, and that one's coming along really great. I have a lot of other untitled ones that I want to work on soon, and I have a novel I plan to do soon, hopefully, after I finish the anthology.
Can you say the name one more time, because it cut out a little bit?
Oh, sorry. Iron Crossing is the name of my current work in progress.
Awesome. How did you choose your title, and what significance does it hold?
So titles for me always are of pretty great weight, because I feel like a book can be no better than its title. I always like to have my titles really, really short and to the point, and kind of a little bit mysterious, to intrigue the readers and try to pull them in more. I really, really do like the more basic and standard titling. Like Blood Meridian, I think, is a beautiful title for a book. There's a lot of other ones, a lot of classical titles that I really enjoy, and I feel like Iron Crossing really sums that up well, because it's the name of a town they come to that serves a lot of plot relevance, and it's, I feel like it ties in well with the rest of the story.
Nice. I like it. It's very intriguing for a title
Thank
name,
you very
too.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also thinking of doing the anthology title in Latin, which I think could be interesting.
Ooh.
Well.
Yeah, I think I would really like that.
Wren, I'm going to have you take over. I need to go upstairs real quick.
Oh, you're fine. Okay.
I'll be right back.
Good luck, Sarah.
So Iron Crossing, you said that's just a short story right now. Is that that's part of the anthology?
So yeah, it's part of it. So Iron Crossing is one of 3 parts, and honestly, it's quickly developing into, I feel like it might be more novella length by the end of the 4th draft.
Oh, very nice.
But the first part, it is one just small section of the anthology that just does the greater world building for this whole thing that I've set up.
Mm-hmm.
And it follows the story of these two, a disgraced knight and then his wife. And the second and third parts bleed in really, really closely to each other, because the second part is their origins and more of their coming to the point to where they were in the first story, and then their eventual breakage at the end of that one. And the third part is loosely tied in; it works as a standalone. But that one is the knight's quest to sort of redeem himself for everything that transpires during the second part.
Okay. So it kind of sounds like the anthology is just kind of like a big hero's quest, but broken down into parts.
It is. That's the main. I feel like Hunting Party. Sorry, the old name. Hunting Party was the old name. Iron Crossing now. Get them mixed up still. I feel like it's going to be the biggest selling point of the anthology, but I have a lot of smaller shorts that are really, really important to me lumped in as well. And I feel like they're going to be very, very beautifully put together when it's all done, and they're all going to complement each other really, really nicely by the end.
Yeah, that'll be wonderful. I would love to see it all like put together and everything because I know you've already shown me like little snippets of it. You kind of talked about it with the group too, so I'm very excited to read more about
Yeah,
it.
I think it's going to be. Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's going to be great.
So what genre do you put your work in progress then?
Okay, so genre it's always been kind of weird for me. It's definitely fantasy. I do want to say high fantasy, definitely leaning towards grimdark. But the reason I struggle to say high fantasy is I don't really have a magic system in place. And I know that's a lot of importance to a lot of high fantasy is magic, and my story really lacks a lot of magic. But I have to
True.
say, fantasy with very, very light romance, sometimes a lot darker throughout the storyline. It's not a dark romance, but it's a darker story with a little bit of romance.
Would it count as epic?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Epic
like an
might make
epic.
sense for that, yeah.
Yeah, so epic fantasy, or even I think kind of like low to mid fantasy too, just because it does take place in the time period that it is, and you're saying that there's not really a big magic system, but from what I recall, there is still like creatures in there. So
There is a lot of monsters, and then I also have a lot. So my magic system is tied pretty closely to the religious system of my world, is what I would say. For, whatever reason.
Yeah. So yeah, like epic or low to mid fantasy too, I think works. But yeah, grimdark too.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely grimdark. That's the thing that I know for sure.
Yeah. How long have you been working on your work in progress?
Honestly, I think my work in progress. So I definitely would say the last year or so. It's been off and on, but I honestly want to say I've been working on it for the last 2 or 3 years because I feel like the main characters are really just more evolved versions of characters that I've been working with for like my entire life, basically. Because the main character is Triox and Alien. His name's in the works right now. Are sort of based on these 2 earlier characters that I had. They're just less idealized. So the 2 original characters are really, really beautiful constructs of like just perfect archetypes, basically. And then Triox and Alien are failing in every area where they succeeded. They're sort of more human than the originals were.
Yeah. I like that though. Like,
so it's a lot of evolution, I think.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I feel like one of our biggest books come from like years of just thinking about it, but to actually write it is the tough part.
No, yeah, literally.
Yeah.
That's been the biggest struggle is writing it.
Yeah.
And then when the scenes come out wonky, it's just, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
I know you touched base already, but is it a completed first draft or is it still in the works?
So,
and you said you're on like
draft,
the 3rd?
I'm on the 3rd. So the first part is completed, but it is a 3-parter. The first part has a whole rough outline done. The second part is changing so much though that it's almost indistinguishable from the first. Because I know with the first draft, I missed a ton of stuff with the whole scene where they're like in the town, a lot of travel sequences and things like that. So that's going to add like 25 pages probably that I haven't written.
That's great though, and I think that's how it's technically supposed to be. Like your first draft is the skeleton, and then as you keep doing more drafts, the more you add on to it. And I think that's great too. Like you're seeing your progress as you are going through, and you're like, wait, I forgot this part.
Yeah, it's definitely, and it's really fun to watch like sort of the world develop with the characters too, how they grow alongside each other.
Yeah.
Like I know in the first time I wrote it, Alien was like just a kind of not a great partner to Triox in the slightest. And now she's really, really developed a lot more aspects that I think she needed. Because she was really, really one-dimensional, where her whole thing was that she had trauma and she was kind of a little bit of a... Can we swear? Is that like...
You go for it.
Yeah, I put a warning that they're swearing, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
She's kind of a bitch in the first draft, like to be blatant. And in the second draft, she has a lot of sweet qualities. and I really, really admire that in the development of her character. Triox too, he's changed a lot, especially with me as I've grown as a person and discovered myself more so.
Mhm.
He has really gotten a lot deeper and more complicated.
That's great. I love that. I love character development, so.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Mhm.
Characters are my strong suit.
So I know that you're like in the third draft and you're wanting to do this anthology first. So are you publishing this part first before you do the rest of it, or are you just trying to like finite this specific piece before you start working on it?
So I do want to start working on multiple different shorts at once, but as far as like the anthology as a whole goes, I plan to finish Iron Crossing, publish it online, and then start working on the other sections of the universe, and then save those till I can get enough of them to make the anthology a thing. But I do want to have Iron Crossing out there before everything else, because it's sort of like the whole motive behind the rest of the work.
Right. So do you have like a specific publication date, or like do you know when estimate you might have that that story published?
Iron Crossing should be done, hopefully. I don't want to put too much of a time frame on it, but like as far as like full completion, like 5th or 6th draft, should hopefully be finished around February, I think, would be ideal.
Ooh, very exciting.
If I don't procrastinate and mess up like usual, you know. That's the,
It's okay.
the dream.
Well, that's why they call them rough drafts.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a main point of view you prefer to write in?
I love writing in third person. I like to have it usually like third person from the perspective of one of the characters, and then I sort of allow myself a little bit of omniscience with some of Ilian's interactions and other interactions throughout the story. I used to be really big on first person, but I just find it so difficult to write in first person because you have to put yourself with the characters to a degree that I just can't do.
That's
And
fair.
it just also just doesn't. It's just harder to write for me because it's like the wording's a lot different and the way you have to portray certain thoughts and ideas are a lot different. I like to be able to let the reader sort of fill in what's going on inside the heads of the characters rather than having it directly stated.
That's very
I feel you there.
understandable.
I am a third person. I can't do
Yeah,
first person very well.
And then it always feels weird writing some scenes in first person where it's like, oh my gosh, that's horrifying, and I'm saying it as an I statement. It's like, eesh.
See, that's
You know?
where I'm the
I don't know.
opposite, because I recently found out I'm not great in third person, and I'm having so much fun being in first person right now. It's so bad.
I'm gonna do a first person short just to try it out.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
So I know that you have your character names. So how did you come up with those names?
Okay, so Triox was kind of just slamming letters together, and I really don't like his name at the moment. So I've been referring to him as the Knight inside all the drafts.
Mm.
And Ilian, I actually am a huge fan of her name. So it's sort of like supposed to sound like Lillian or Iliana. And then I've modified it with some other words, like, you know, like flower names a little bit, and a lot of other stuff like that. So it's got a little bit of significance to like, just like, I feel like it's like a typical princess name, but like I've modified it slightly, just sort of like how her character was designed, you know?
Well, she is a little princess. She's a little battle princess.
She's great. I love her. She's amazing.
No, she is very sweet. I do like her.
She's sweet, but then she has like horrible blood on her hands too. It's like insane.
Oh
The
yeah, it's
weird
beautiful.
duality. Literally. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your main characters?
So, okay. Oh, I really hope I don't start word vomiting on this one because it might end there.
Oh.
But I'll just do each of them separate. It might end with a word vomit. I'm just gonna, fair warning. But Triox, I love him because he's like, okay, so originally he's sort of based on this old character Arthur, and Arthur was this like perfect knight, you know? And Triox is a modified version of him. So Triox really is a representation of like, how do I explain this? He lacks everything that Arthur had. He's kind of a coward. He's not really as kind as Arthur was. He's not as strong as Arthur was. He's sort of like I tried to make Arthur more real. I love him a lot. He's just he's a great character. He's very protective of Ilian. I think that's a good quality for him to have. He's willing to sacrifice himself to an insane degree. He really is like, he just tries so hard to be so much more than a man, and he always falls short. And that's sort of what I get from him. So a lot of his backstory was, he didn't have parents growing up. None of the Knights of the Order do. They're all taken from their families at a young age or stolen from a warring city. And he sort of never found that belonging that a lot of the other knights had. He was really, really ostracized growing up, and even as an adult. He was called the Black Knight because he killed a demon lord and came back to the city, and his armor was caked in the rotten blood of the thing. So it became a natural nickname for him and moniker for him. He had insomnia, pretty severe insomnia, for a lot of his adult life as well, which is actually how he met Ilian, because he always took walks around the city at night, just because he couldn't sleep. Ilian herself, I love working with her too. She's just such a beautiful match to him, because he's sort of this really, really rule-oriented, like order-oriented fallen hero, and she's sort of this this woman that was like never really enough for anyone or anything, and she sort of completes him, and she finds her own completion in him. She used to be a prostitute before she met Triox, and horrible things she suffered during that line of work. She's a very, very scarred person, but she's also very, very determined and very, very resilient. She's been broken so many times that she's just been so fully repaired that she's stronger than she was at the start of the story, which I think is a really, really beautiful plot line. It is all about sort of their redemption. There's even a lot of lines in dialogue and stuff where she sort of lets out that like feeling of not being good enough, and then he'll always sort of take her in and help her with that feeling. And I think that really makes them a beautiful couple and a beautiful storyline to work with.
I love that so much. I think they fit so well together too. And from the snippets I read too, like I love them.
No, they really do. They balance each other out so well. It's impressive.
Yeah. What has been the hardest part of your work in progress so far?
The hardest part is not getting distracted when I'm writing, honestly. Like I'll be working on my computer, and like a friend will text me, or like I'll get sent a video link, or I'll have to go do something else, or I'll get bored and start reading, or I'll get bored and play video games, which I'm not proud of. That's because writing's so much better.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's getting your head anchored in. It's just, that's what it's all about, is just trying to anchor yourself into that character. And then part of it too is hard, like just rewriting is so frustrating, because you'll have these scenes where you think they're written so wonderfully, and then you'll go back 3 days later and read them, and you're like, oh my god, that's horrible.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I get the distractions. I have to put my phone on the other side of the room and make sure Discord specifically is not up on my laptop, because otherwise I'll get notified. So I make sure all my stuff is off before I try to start writing, because it is very distracting.
I know music helps me a lot too if I have 2 headphones in the room. One time I got so fed up with getting distracted that I actually put my phone in a steel lockbox for an hour.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do.
There you go.
Might have been overkill.
Sorry.
I said it works, but might have been overkill,
What has been your favorite part of the writing process so far?
My favorite part has been seeing everything come together, and click into place exactly where I would like it to click into place. I just love how all of the story plots and all the characters gel so well together, and that's been the absolute biggest joy in writing. I've also just really, really been encouraged by seeing some beautiful lines of dialogue. When I wrote, try to see context or something to put it in later, and I love those snippets. They always turn out so nicely and give such a deep lens into the characters, and it just makes me very, very happy when I'm writing. See it happen like that.
Yeah, and I've always found parts of your writing to be very poetic too. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, why can't I do this?
I love working the poetic lines, and it makes it so much like I just love the layering. You know, it's so nice.
Yeah. So which of the two characters do you resonate with the most?
Alien, I can't really resonate with at all, which is, you know, I mean, I try, and there's certain aspects of her that I really can sympathize with. But I know Triox, he's like, at first when I was writing him, I didn't realize it, but he's kind of me to an extent. And I just really, really have, like, I feel like a connection with him. And I feel like that's why he got so much better. I got to thank my ex for this one. After getting out of that, I just sort of was able to resonate with sort of his emotional state way more, because there's like a huge disconnect between him and Alien. And I was really able to tap into that in myself and make it come through with him so much more. Like all the mental drain and just the stress of it all. And I feel like Triox is really, really going through that, but to an even greater extent. And I like to sympathize with him on that. And I feel like his struggle too it's my struggle to an extent, especially with the not feeling good enough in some contexts. Like he's not strong enough, not brave enough, all these things that he wants to work towards, and he probably could work towards them, but he just finds himself unable to complete those tasks. And it strikes me very, very deeply.
Well, that's amazing. And I think it's great too that you put yourself in the character, and a lot of readers will catch that too.
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. I think I'm proud of him and Alien too. They're some of the first characters that I've written that I've really fallen in love with.
Do you have a character that you just don't like but is crucial to the storyline?
So this one can include
That
side
would
characters
easily
too.
be.
Yeah.
Okay, that would easily be a Shao or the Ashen Queen. I absolutely hate her. She's the biggest, like, monstrous, most horrible, awful thing imaginable. And I hate having to write her. And I also hate having to give her character some grounds too. Because there's some times we'll sort of say something really manipulative and it'll almost sound like she has a point, and it really bothers me. I just hate doing it. It's like I need her for the plot so desperately. And the worst part is the way she's written, I can't even kill her off in some horrible way either. So it's just like she's just stuck there. And it's just very aggravating at times, you know?
It's the perfect villain.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right? I'm like sitting there and I'm like, I wish I didn't make you. I'm like,
The itch that just won't itch and go away.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
What scares you about being a writer and or publishing?
Well, there's obviously the part that I really am worried about the money involved. Like, I know it's expensive to get published if you go through any publisher, and then I'm really worried about getting picked up by a non-indie publisher, because that can be almost impossible for anthologies. On a deeper level too, I'm really, really worried that my writing won't have any sort of impact. Like, I write for the joy of writing and also for the joy of like making a fictitious story. But I've always really, really aspired to sort of be one of those authors where you read their book and then you put it down and you look around the world and you see it a little bit differently after you finished it. And I've just always really been worried that my writing is never, ever going to be able to achieve that. I'm also really worried too about even in personal relationships in my life, people reading my story and not receiving it well, or people reading my story and making inferences about the kind of person I am based on what the characters do. And that's a really, really big concern of mine, especially considering how dark my stories get sometimes. Like, I'm not any sort of like bad person, but the characters do some atrocious things. And I just don't want that to reflect on me.
I'll tell you one thing. My boss, I told my boss that I'm writing a very, very dark book, and I said straight up, "You're not reading my book." I was like, "I'm not gonna have you look at me differently," and she's like, "That's totally fine." So it's okay to tell
You're like going
people.
to get some coffee.
Yeah.
And she just like backs up, you know?
Yeah, no, it's okay to tell people like, "Hey, I am writing. But if you're going to read it, please don't look at me a different way, because that's not who I am. That's just my creative outlet."
No, totally. That's definitely like it's a good concern and good boundary to set too, especially when you're showing people in person the stuff you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use an outline or is it spontaneous?
So I definitely use more of a. I don't really use an outline. I sort of just like let the words go where they're gonna go, and then rewrite from there. Um. So sorry, some people walked by, so I got frazzled. Um. No, I usually don't use an outline. Usually my first drafts are so vague that they function as an outline, but you know, kind of doing it. I like sketching a lot too to come up with more grounded characters.
I've seen your sketches. They're pretty
Mhm.
good.
Yeah. I think
Thank you very
sketching's
much. Thank
great
you very
too
much.
because you're not like sitting there like writing down what the armor looks like. You just have a visual of like this is what the armor looks like. So you don't have to go back to
Oh,
it.
yeah, I know it's amazing. I think it really really helps ground things out. And armor is such an important focus for my story too. Like a
Mhm.
character's armor will say so much about them.
Yes. How do you deal with writer's block? Like how do you overcome it?
Um, that's kind of a tough one for me. I kind of just wait it out usually, or I'll force myself to write. I'll try to look for new music. I'll try to sketch a lot of the time. Sketching was like my first big how I got over block. Um, obviously, Mary Jane too.
I cannot think when when I'm under that.
No, it's same for me, but like the day afterwards, man, my writing's always so much better. Like the next day.
I yeah, I can't say the same. I think I'm too groggy, and so I'm just like I'm just not going to.
That's how me and my friend came up with the plot line for we want to do a comic together, and it's what is it? I think it's called like it's called Ninja Crusaders or something stupid like that, and it's gonna be great, man.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
How do you deal with difficult or emotionally draining scenes in your work in progress?
So for a lot of emotionally draining or difficult scenes, I don't really take breaks or pauses. I kind of just write through them. It's almost cathartic to an extent, I think, just to let the characters like let them feel your pain, feel their pain to an extent where like just having that complete bond. Because I mean, I don't think they don't get a break from it. But you as an author can step away, and I feel like I personally like to just write through it, like just feel the pain as it's coming out, get the words down. I know a lot of my best scenes, even if they're not emotionally intense scenes, are written when I'm under like horrible pressures or strain.
Yeah. I think
Like that's actually where I came up with the whole. Sorry, you go.
no, you go ahead. You go ahead.
You sure? Okay, thank you. That's where I came up with the whole Crimson Goddess plot line, which is the third part of my trio thingy. It's it was written at a time of pretty bad pain where I was like really really done with just everything.
Mm. That's amazing that you were able to push yourself through that because I know a lot of people, and especially myself, if there's something that's like super draining, I'm one of those people that step away. And so it's like, I think it's really amazing that you're just like, I'm just going to push through it while I'm feeling the feelings that I have.
I think just my writing comes out a lot better when I'm under so much like just weight.
What advice can you give to other aspiring authors like yourself?
Consume lots of books, like constantly be reading, and make sure you're reading the right material too, because you write generally speaking akin to what you read. So if you're reading like a bunch of like I don't know, like make sure you're consuming books, but make sure those books that you're consuming are good. Is what I would say. You gotta read a lot, and then you also have to know what you're reading is what you want to create when you're writing. Because even after I've read a lot of the one author, my writing style will begin to resemble that author to an extent. You really have to find a good balance.
Yeah.
Also, I think a lot of nonfiction, especially if you're doing something that requires research, is very important. Like I know mine relates to Knights a lot, and I've done tons of research on the Crusades because of it. And I think that's important as well, just making sure you have your storyline and facts down and making sure you know about, making sure you know so it can be believable.
Yeah. And
100%.
yeah, people can tell when you do research too. So that's great advice.
Yeah. Thank you.
I've seen comments on some books that are posted online, and people will be in the review saying, "Did you even do your research?"
Mhm.
Blah, 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 blah. So some people don't take the time and then they do what they think and it's not what they thought.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And a
you
lot of
gotta
people
watch
get
out for those.
upset.
Yeah, you gotta definitely make sure you have everything down.
How much do you spend researching compared to writing?
So I'm working inside a primarily fantasy setting where I can generally kind of do whatever I want, which is so there's not a ton of research involved. I've always been interested in Side Knights, so I've obviously looked into their codes of honor. I've done a lot of looking into medieval symbolism, things like that. Even anatomy to an extent too, just to figure out like how can I realistically make this combat sequence of this thing happen. But I generally spend far more time writing than researching. I do a lot of random like research too, just for fun. So I don't really know if that counts towards it, but like a lot of my more of my time is spent writing and researching. I do a little bit though, enough so that no one can yell at me.
What does success mean to you as a writer?
Success means I I really think it means like giving someone something profound with my work. Like just having someone read it, walk away, and be like, "This really, really made me think about some things. I need to maybe reevaluate some things and think about a lot of." I'm droning on so much. Oh my god. Um, just like to understand the world to a degree that didn't before. You know, like I want to be one of those writers like Tolkien or Cormac McCarthy or Frank Herbert, where you read their book and it's something that like sticks with you. That's yeah.
And I think for me personally, it can be hard for books to stick with me. There's only very few books that have, like essays books, Eris's books. And then I've also read Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas, but her other books don't stick with me as much as Crescent City did. Like that one actually was the first book in my life to make me cry. And so I will say that yes, that can be successful, but I wouldn't take it too hard if it doesn't affect somebody as dramatically as that, if that makes sense.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I would completely agree. I don't expect to get anywhere near those authors in any sort of reasonable amount of time.
Right.
I mean, even with
Hey.
them, usually it's like 2 or 3 books that they have that are really, really successful, and the rest kind of go unnoticed.
Don't
And even
ever
if I can
doubt
get like a
yourself.
fraction of that, what?
I said, don't ever doubt yourself because you never know. It takes time. You know how long these authors have been writing? Like Brandon Sanderson, boy, I have heard his name so much in this last year than I ever have. His books are getting really popular and he works hard, but it takes time. You never know. Something could blow up 3 to 5
Most
years from
definitely.
now.
I'd be really happy with that, honestly. It's not even about like money and things. I just want my work to be something that people can use.
Right, and that's understandable too.
What
Thank you
made
so
you
much.
want to become a writer?
I've always had a lot of characters and just all these various things stuck in my head. And at first, I tried to get them out by sketching, and I wasn't ever good at sketching until very recently. And so, an easier outlet for me to get all these things out was writing. And I sort of turned to writing because it was something that I found more tailored to my personal needs and my personal like artistic sensibilities that allowed me to get all of these stories and all these visuals down inside some capacity.
I think me and you are very similar in that path because Beyond the Tyrant's Reach, I was actually going to do as a manga style type comic.
You should definitely still give it a shot. I would love to see Beyond the Tyrant's Reach in manga style.
I tried. I literally could not do the first panel because the first panel I wanted to open up with her cabin on fire and I just could not do it. And I was like, screw it. And I threw it away.
You just gotta draw the little cartoony flames around the cabin.
It was not looking good. But like you can actually see old sketches of my characters. They definitely evolved a lot. So, but there are old sketches of them out there in the world.
I would love to see some of those.
I'll send some your way.
Thank you.
So can you share a personal life experience that inspired a character or a scene?
So not really so much like I don't like to work a lot of my actual like personal experiences into it. A lot of the characters' trauma is really, really different than anything that I would have in my past. But I do like to work off of artwork. I know artwork is a huge inspiration for me. Like there's a panel from it's gonna bother me that I can't remember it. I think it's called Ghostblade or something. I haven't read it in full, but it was a panel of this knight with a cape around this princess or whoever she was, and his shield up in the air and a crowd in the background. And I saw that, and it was just very, very inspiring. And that's where I came up with Arthur and Emerald, who later evolved into my current characters. So I do a lot of art is really important to me. I also like to write things that I enjoy. Like there's no deserts in my story. It's a lot of pine trees. You know, it's just sort of like
Me too.
Yeah.
I know, right? I'm stuck in a desert though, so it's just not ideal. I'm trying to find the pine trees, man.
You gotta come over here.
I know. Eventually.
For listeners out there, him and I only live like 5 hours apart, so.
One day.
One day.
You know what's crazy is that I'm pretty sure me and Elizabeth live about 6 to 8, but we're in different states compared to you guys.
Yeah.
So that's kind of funny.
Yeah. Just that damn mountain range for us.
I know. Man, those mountains are crazy.
How do you approach dialogue, and do you have any tips for crafting authentic conversations?
As a socially awkward person, I just like to think about what would I say if I was normal, and that's kind of how I base my dialogue. And usually it comes off very, very odd still, but in a I'd like to think charming way. You know, hopefully, maybe.
Well, thankfully, with your story being fantasy, they can talk however you want them to talk.
I know, it's great. I also love, especially for more intense scenes, I like to write dialogue in a poetic format. Like, try to include as many allusions, metaphors, I think, Ren, I know I've sent you and Elizabeth, and even I think Sarah too, a couple scenes of the interaction on the server. And it's, that's what my goal is with dialogue, sort of make it like that. Like, just make it crisp and, like, likable and really, really, not romantic in, like, a romantic sense, but romantic in, like, the idealized sense, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I try to make it like that, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Or if it's the barkeep, I just see how sketchy I can make his dialogue sound, and it turns out great.
So is there a interesting fact that you can share about your work in progress that someone wouldn't not know?
Would it not?
I'm tired, okay?
They would know. Fair enough.
I was hoping you wouldn't catch that.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
You made me look at the question. I'm like, wait a minute.
Sorry, go ahead.
I literally, there's probably something there that I'm just not, it's just not coming up. Oh, I think, what is it? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I honestly, I'm trying to think of something. I just can't. Like, it's just.
Well, yeah, I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never. That's keeping my secrets.
That's okay.
I'm gonna remember it like 5 hours later and just like start swearing.
Gosh dang it!
Oh. So, do you promote on any platforms? I know you say you don't really do social media, but is there anything that you actually go on and promote that you're writing at all, or do you have any plans for when you do try to publish for the promote?
So I'm gonna try to start promoting hopefully when it's fully like completed and ready to market. Like Royal Road is the only thing that I'm on right now. I really don't. I know I probably sound like a crazy person, but I literally live under a rock. Like, it's just, there's nothing that I'm on as like far as promotion goes, which is unfortunate. I need to really correct that soon, but I mean, with time.
With time, yeah. So Elizabeth, I know that you've been on mute, but this would actually be your time. If you had any extra questions for our aspiring author here, you're welcome to ask them.
But like the scene where Patrick Starr says, like, the silence is deafening or something like that. Make it up.
I'm still listening. I just fell on the spot now.
No, you're okay.
Oh,
Do you have
okay.
any questions? Any extra questions that maybe we didn't ask that you're curious about?
Usually we're on TikTok and people will text
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So with this, it's a little different on Discord. You can actually join in and ask if you wanted to.
No, I think you guys covered everything. I'm interested to see, because he was saying that the fantasy world He wasn't, you know.
I think she cut out.
Okay.
I'm. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I'd also just like, I don't know if this is like super not supposed to happen, but like I have a friend who's really helped me through my writing. I just would like to give her like a shout out. Like, I know she's
Go
gonna
for
watch
it.
this later, but Siviana, you're always there for me, man, through like the real shit and then also for the writing stuff. You're just always helping and always there, and I'm just lucky to have you working with me on this.
Oh, she did
Oh, the
ask.
magic system is
Yeah.
what Elizabeth was asking about.
So you did mention that you
So-
don't really have a big magic system, but what do you have planned? Kind of like that.
So what I do have planned is it's more of like a biological thing. Like you'll have people that are blessed by like the High One or even cursed by the Ashen Queen, and they'll sort of be more than human, like Herculean tasks, stuff like that. Like I know Reaper is one of the big blessed ones, and he's a huge, just hulking knight with bones all over his armor. Awesome dude. I love him. He's so great. Because he's also like a really, really sweet softy on the inside. I will. So how to balance it is what she's asking and expand it. So it's sort of balanced in the manner of there's a lot of ascended demons and then there's a lot of ascended humans, and it's sort of just balanced out among the ranks. Like I know for every skeleton field there's a Reaper to counteract it, or for every I can't remember what his name is now, but there's this huge bird monster, and there's like 3 or 4 knights that could totally take him on too. So it just sort of like evens out with the manner of like the troop counts they have. Because the armies themselves are really governed over more so by the Ashen Queen and the High One, and their power balance there is the most important aspect. There's also 2 kingdoms of mortal man that are left because most of the kingdoms have been destroyed. And I feel like those 2 kingdoms being at war, and also the demons having to fight those 2 kingdoms at the same time, sort of really keeps everyone locked in a conflict where there's no really worry of one superpowered person coming along and killing everything. There's also, I don't know if I'm going to keep it in, but I know one of the original works inside the stories had imbuing. And imbuing is sort of like when you take a talisman, and talismans will have maybe like you can cast one down, it'll sort of form into the thing that it's designed to be. Like I know I had a scorpion pendant that actually, when cast to the ground, turned into a scorpion,
Ooh.
a small metal scorpion. But a lot of the stuff too, like weaponry, is more important than a lot of magic. Like you can't really wield magic as a mortal human, but you can have weapons that have some sort of like more magical items involved. Like I know the scythe that Reaper carries it binds demon souls to it automatically. Like whenever he slays one, it'll cast into the scythe. Now binding really isn't like, it doesn't make the weapons or armor more powerful. It sort of is like if you were to like attach bones or skulls to your armor, it just sort of lets them know that you're carrying around their brother's departed souls inside of your gear as sort of like a threat. She said high fantasy, like gods versus mortal type. Yes and no. It's more so gods versus gods. Because there's the High One and the Ashen Queen, and the Ashen Queen was the High One's wife before she fell. So she cast herself out of the heavens willingly, so she could have fun torturing humans, basically, because he was disturbed by what he had seen his wife become. And she refused to sort of change her ways and come back to being a more angelic creature. I've based a lot of it on a modified like Judeo-Christian type circumstances. I don't really base this on Norse a lot, or even Greek. I really do like a lot of the standard like European stylings when it comes to that. So I mean, yeah, it kind of is high fantasy, I guess. Rethinking about it, but there was a lot of that good versus evil, really cut and dry type stuff, and I think it really shines for it. Because I think with a lot of fantasy, and I really like fantasy that has the whole built-up religions. I know, Ren, yours does it really, really well. Your system inside yours is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
And I think mine being monotheistic, though, and more sort of like tied down to not really a super complicated spiritual world, makes it a lot different from a lot of other things that are around. And I think that really, really helps me to an extent. Underlining message throughout if there is one. a lot of the shorts and a lot of the full lengths will have different messages, but generally speaking, the messages kind of are just like the typical like archetypal messages, like um I know this whole thing is about redemption and sort of like mourning your past and offering sort of like trying to gain forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
but also just sort of the whole plot is becoming a better person essentially and not trying to live in the past too much. And then a lot of it too is also just morality, I think, is an important feature of a lot of it. Like um it tends to be kind of, what's the word, cynical in a lot of places, which I really need to work out because I'm not trying to make my work too cynical, but it is kind of cynical in a lot of spots. Like there's a lot of things about like be careful who you trust, placing your faith in the right people, stuff like that. A lot of it, redemption is probably the biggest aspect.
Yeah. Well, especially with what the characters went through themselves too. So.
Yeah, no, definitely with Triox too, and Alien. Like the Triox has some horrible PTSD just from the things he's done. Um, was it healing to write? Well, I wasn't really in a broken place when I started it, and then as I finished it, I mean, I think it definitely it's healing in the sense that I'm sort of experiencing new ideas, beliefs, and situations just through my characters. Um, I think it has made me like a more whole person, more understanding. But I mean, it's cathartic. I would definitely say it's cathartic. I do feel better after writing it, and especially with the storyline with the Crimson Queen and all that. That was really helpful in just getting over a lot of stuff.
All right.
Thank you so much for your questions.
Yeah,
Elizabeth.
of course. Thank you for
And
being here with us and being able to participate in our Author Sesh Corner session.
thank you guys so much for having me. It was wonderful.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you
Well,
so much. I hope I didn't drone on too long. Thank you.
no, you're good.
No.
And thank you for anybody listening. Remember to leave like, follow, comment, share, whatever you can do. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. You can follow us on TikTok. We have a very low following. We can't do full hosting for TikTok yet until we get up to, what is it, 100 followers?
100 until I can start doing single lives.
Single
And then I
lives.
would have to go on there. Yeah, I would have to go on there 3 times to be able to host.
Yep. So in order for us to do those author sessions on TikTok using the Author Sesh Corner page, we have to get up to there. So please follow there as well, so that way we can start doing that. Otherwise, we try to upload every week. Next week is our reading from our books, so we will be reading 2 chapters, essay and I, from each of our books. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, we will see you next time. So thank you for listening and watching. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.